Welcome back everyone. I know it has been a couple months since the last video. I really needed to take a break from YouTube for a while. Now if you would like to know why, I was actually facing pretty much the exact same situation last year and I made a video about it, so instead of repeating myself, I'm just gonna give you the link in the video description and that video will explain what I was up to in the last couple months. Alright, now let's get to business. We have a whole bunch of topics to address. Starting with a warning to other YouTube channels that want to take my content and try to scam me out of my agreed revenue share. I will come after you, and my motivation is not going to be money. My motivation will be to take down scumbags like you that try to take advantage of small creators. Now, as you can imagine, this warning doesn't just come out of nowhere. I recently had to deal with something like this. But I ended up signing a non-disclosure agreement, which doesn't allow me to expose a fairly big YouTube channel, so there won't be any names, details or numbers. But let me tell you this, even though this sucked the life out of me in the last couple of weeks, I learned a lot. And the next Parasite YouTube channel is not gonna get away that easily. I will rain hell on you, and I will take immediate legal action against you, something I should have done in this case, but like I said, I learned a lot. A lot of you guys enjoyed the Tiny House Build series, and recently some individuals not only asked for an update, which of course is totally fine and understandable, but some actually felt entitled enough to demand a certain type of content. Well folks, that's not how this works. I'm not making a living from YouTube. In fact, I'm the one who's paying with hard-earned cash and countless of hours to provide you with free content. It is my hobby. So let me make this clear, there's only one person around here that will make decisions when it comes to prioritizing between a hobby, my work life and family life, and that is me. Well, actually it's my wife. Now let's dive into that a little bit. For example, the last build video on my channel was about this coffee table here. Now for my almost 8,000 subscribers, only 690 actually watched that video. It's a little bit disappointing, but what can I say, that's how it goes sometimes on YouTube. Now you have to keep in mind that it took me days just for the editing part alone, and so far I only made $3.87 in ad revenue, and that is in Canadian dollar. But I want you to consider how much money I had to spend in order to make a video like that. I needed to buy proper lighting, a tripod, a gimbal, a high-end phone in order to record all of that, microphones, cables and accessories, an external battery in order to keep my phone charged while filming, an online subscription for copyright-free music. That's right, I have to pay for the background music in my videos. Another subscription for the editing software, online storage, a green screen, and. There's a whole bunch of stuff that needed to be purchased in order to make those videos, and all my ad revenue so far went towards the equipment. And it was still not enough to pay for all of that, let alone the hundreds of hours that I spent producing those videos. My point is, as such a small YouTuber like myself, it's sometimes really hard to find motivation to spend my money and time into creating free content. And that is why I decided to activate Super Thanks on my channel. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a small button. You can find it between the channel name and the comment section. And this little button will allow you to show support and appreciation in form of a donation and a highlighted comment, so it stands out amongst all the other comments. Now, if you really want to support this channel, please consider a donation. It really just takes a minute and a couple clicks. It would mean a lot to me and it would help to keep things going around here. There's one more thing I can do as a small YouTuber to support myself. I can work with big companies who offer me their product for free in exchange for doing a product review on my channel or even just using their product in my videos. Now that sounds easier than it actually is. You would be surprised about the amount of companies that reach out asking for a collaboration, and we exchange a couple emails, I get all excited and boom, for all of a sudden there's complete silence and I never hear from them again. The amount of unprofessional employees in marketing departments of some big companies is really surprising. But that is not the only problem. Sometimes it's the product itself. Recently a company reached out and wanted to advertise a cheap perfume on my channel. That is really something that doesn't even remotely relate to my content. So if you're a company out there who wants to work with me, listen up, here are 3 basic conditions. First, your product needs to relate to my channel, at least to some degree. Second, I need to have the freedom to be completely honest. If that means I have to say something negative about your product, too bad. Third, you need to be able to hold a baseline of communication. Please don't waste my time. Don't contact me if you're not genuine about your offer. One company that does an outstanding job when it comes to collaborations is Banggood. Now, I worked with them before. Some of you might remember the tool review video from 4 months ago, and not everything I had to say was very positive, but they took the criticism without complaining and actually went one step further and offered me help with my router table situation. Now, this lousy setup here is my router table. It's literally just the router screwed underneath a piece of plywood, and I use this laminated piece of plywood as a fence. It does work, but it doesn't work well. There's no dust collection and it is far from precise. As some of you pointed out already a couple times, it really is time for a proper benchtop router table. Of course, I could just buy one, but Banggood offered to supply me with a good quality router lift and a fence with dust collection. And they actually sent out a package already months ago. I'm really surprised they're so patient with me. So let's go ahead and finally open that package. So that's the router lift, quite a substantial package. So let's start with that one. So my first impression is already really good. Let me tell you, this is a beefy unit. There's quite some weight to it. Just a little bit surprising considering that most parts here are machined from aluminum alloy. I think the gold, blue, chrome color combo looks fantastic. And if your router base plate measures 185 millimeters in diameter or less, it will fit in here, because those slots in here are supposed to give you sort of a universal fit. So my router is a very common Bosch router, so I'm not too concerned about the fit. I did notice though that all 4 corners here are pretty banged up, and that was a little bit surprising until I took a closer look at the packaging. And then I noticed that the base plate was rubbing right through that little thin piece of foam, so that was not enough to protect it. I really hate to say this, but some delivery drivers don't give a shit about what's in their packages. They just throw it in the truck, they try to get the job done as fast as possible and try to go home. So Banggood, if you're listening, it's up to you to make sure that your products and packages can handle a certain amount of abuse. I guess I will just take a metal file and just try to get rid of those sharp edges. But if I would have paid for this product, we would have a problem right now. This kit also came with 3 different insert plates depending on the size of your router bit. And as you can see, they fit perfectly, so there are no issues on that end. It also came with a bunch of Allen keys, some wrenches, a little bag with nuts and bolts so you can attach your router, and last but not least, a little handle. Now with that little handle, you can lift your router up and down. After all, it is a router lift. Very satisfying because it's really smooth. So the only problem I really have with this is related to the packaging and not with the product itself. Right now it's actually on sale for $220.81 Canadian. I think that's a great deal if you consider the quality of the machining and the quality of the product overall. So I'm really looking forward to build something with this, and of course I will share the link in the video description. Now let's open the second package with the fence. This is surprisingly big as well, so let's see what's in there. Okay, now before we get started, let me tell you that this, in comparison to the other package, was really well protected, so there's no damage whatsoever. And just like the other item, this is surprisingly heavy duty. Okay, so here's the front of the fence, and we have those 4 bolts here. If you open them up, you can slide those pieces to the left and right and basically open this up, and you would just adjust it accordingly to your router bit that you're using. And then we have all the other bolts here. With those you can adjust the angle and make sure you always have a perfect 90-degree angle. Now up here we have a track. You can use that track for a featherboard if you want, or you can use this little guard here in the middle, and you would just adjust the height depending on the thickness of your workpiece. So this kit also came with 2 tracks. Both of them have the scale already printed on them, and those 2 tracks will allow you to move the fence back and forward. Now this handle and that part here is part of the sliding mechanism. And yet again, I have to point out how good the quality is. So this part here is not plastic. That's a solid, nicely machined piece of aluminum. Very well done. It also came with this little bag of dust collection adapters, just in case your vacuum doesn't fit here. Right now, Banggood is selling this entire kit for $269.29 Canadian. And if you consider the quality, and I know this is sometimes hard to show on camera, but I guess you just have to take my word for it. The quality of this is by far better than what I expected for this price, so I would say it's a really good deal. Of course, I will share the link in the video description as well. I can't wait to build a proper benchtop router table with this. I mean, technically all you need is a piece of plywood with some legs, but I promise I will do something more unique. But that's for another video. This one is getting too long already. As always, guys, thank you for watching and tuning in. And I never said this on camera, but I really do appreciate all your positive comments. I read 95% of them and they really do make my day sometimes. So please keep them coming. I will get to work here. I will see you very soon. Until then, stay safe, my friends.